Master Media, and AIM B2B is our B2B marketing brand that we recently launched. And together with me, my co-host and partner in crime is Ignacio Davalos. Ignacio?
Nice to meet you, everyone. I'm Ignacio Davalos. I'm a content strategy director at AIM B2B. My work is to grow client on organic content like SEO and GEO. So thank you for the invitation.
Excellent. So, when we started to put together this workshop for our clients and also for us internally, we wanted to first find out, are our ideal customers finding our solutions first? So we put this question to our clients, is your customer finding you first? In today's digital landscape, which is crowded, the speed of, relying on AI solutions is just crazy fast. Buyers aren't searching on Google anymore. They're starting to rely on ChatGPT, Gemini, Perplexity to find trusted answers. So if your content is not optimized for GEO, you quickly miss valuable exposure. So that is the core question behind this workshop and behind what we try to do to help our clients to be on top of mind for their customers. Who we are a award-winning B2B marketing agency based in Japan, delivering data-driven creative marketing solutions for our clients. Most of our clients are in revolutionary industries from AI, clean energy, fintech, healthcare, manufacturing, and technology. We help them to shape the future. Our mission is to empower them to have meaningful connections with their audiences here in Japan through the power of storytelling. And storytelling is our philosophy. We believe in the power of humanizing brands through the power of storytelling, which is what we've been doing as a business. We started off as a B2B publishing company. All about storytelling. My co-founder is a journalist and media veteran. So bringing storytelling to the heart of our clients' marketing and PR communications, especially in the market in Japan, where trust and reputation are the foundation of success. So we have a framework that we've built over the 17 years of doing business in Japan, which is what forms our new brand identity, AIM, which is A stands for adapt, I implement, and M maximize. So we help clients to adapt their messaging, adapt their strategy, adapt their content, implement those strategies in the market, and help them to maximize, get the best results from, constantly monitoring and optimizing their solutions. And speaking of optimization, SEO is search engine optimization and GEO is generative engine optimization. What has optimization got to do? Here's a brief history of what SEO used to look like. It started off in the 1995s, when the earliest search engines started to appear. And then in the mid-2000s, 2003 to 2011, Google started to put a lot of impact in algorithms that started to prioritize which sites show up, because there were so many sites popping up. So you had to start to prioritize which sites get the top attention. And then 2013 to 2016-ish, they focused on natural language processing. Mobile started to become, prominent. A lot of localization was happening. And then from 2016 to 19, Google was still dominating the market, the search market, right? Prioritizing search based on intent and long-form keywords. This is kind of where really the keyword, started to become very important, having content that's, well embedded with keywords so that your website starts to rank up on top. And then, 2024, 2020, 22, 23, 24, AI started to becoming more prevalent. And today, the future of SEO is more than just SEO, it's GEO. So these days, when you do a search, even if you go to Google and do a Google search, a typical search, what you get is something like this. You get what is called an AI overview. That's the very first thing you see at the top, an overview of the content that you're looking for. And so we just took this topic, SEO versus GEO. We've been dominant in this particular two keywords, because we were quite early talking about this, writing about this. This article we published in January of this year is on the top 3 that ranks alongside, the gurus of SEO, SEO.com and Search Engine Land. And this is yesterday's search. Just to give you, this is where the new search real estate is. And typically, when you have the Google search, you would have the paid searches showing up, the sponsored content, followed by your top links, right? So today you see to the left of your screen is where the key search real estate is. So if you can get your content to feature here, or your client's content to feature here, you are starting to dominate the Google search land. And this is 2 searches we did just yesterday for B2B marketing agencies in Japan. And one is in Gemini, one is in ChatGPT. As you can see, they have their different ways of showcasing the results, and custom media is in the top 2. If you compare the 2, like there are other players mentioned, but we are constantly mentioned. Whereas, for example, if you see on the left, there are 3 players at the top. We are 2 among there, and then here there are 4 or 5 players, and we are 2 among there. You don't see the same players in both the searches. And of course, there's the mega agencies like the Dentsus, Akuhodos, and ADKs. They are the major Japanese holding companies that are the top. So what's the key difference between SEO, AEO, and GEO? Think of it this way. What was the key goal? The goal of SEO was to get your site to rank on the top based on search engine results and pages, which is called SERPs. Whereas the goal for AEO is to secure featured content, featured snippets. Voice search is becoming more prominent these days. And then the goal with GEO content is to influence the engines, influence ChatGPT and Gemini and Perplexity to provide your content in their summaries, in their answer boxes. The focus on how to achieve that in SEO would be keywords, backlinks, technical SEO, how you code your websites, and so on. In GEO, it's about natural language, semantics, and then context aware. It's about sentences, conversations, and we'll talk a little bit more about that. And when you're trying to optimize websites for these different methodologies, with SEO, you're traditionally looking at the key engines, Google and Bing, that are dominant. So you're optimizing your sites for that. Whereas with GEO, you're optimizing your sites for Google's search generative engines, but also Bing Chat and ChatGPTs. And then finally, most importantly, how you achieve this is the content style, right? With SEO, we are all used to writing long form, informative articles filled with keywords that you want to rank for, because the more keywords you have, the more prominent your article will, or your content will show up on the website, Google search. With an answer engineering optimization engine, you're trying to provide concise FAQ-based structured content so that anybody asking a question brings up your content with the answer to that question. And then in GEO, it's all about conversations. Think about your user behavior when you go to ChatGPT or Gemini. What is your typical behavior in terms of having those conversations with those engines? And basically what's happening is it's moving from keywords to conversations. So typically, you would open, Google and ask for what's the best restaurants in Tokyo, right? And then it would, based on your geographic location, if you can also provide a location, then Google would provide, top listing, and then also a Google map like this. But nowadays, user behavior in search engines are around asking questions. What are some of good restaurants in Tokyo for a business dinner with international clients that have private rooms, that have good reviews? So you're putting everything into a big context and asking the engine to list based on your very specific need. That's kind of how the engines are responding. So therefore, you need to make sure your content addresses this type of conversation that the user is having with the engines to get the answers they are looking for. And that is basically a kind of foundation about where we are moving from SEO to GEO. What I'd like to do next is share with you, some myths around GEO and SEO, but to say the least, things are changing very fast. You see this in the news every day from prominent media outlets that Google and AI and GEO is changing the way brands and reputation appears online. And it's important that we pay attention, and it's important that we are prepared to handle it. So the GEO Mythbusters Challenge. So I'd like you to think about this. If my website ranks #1 in traditional Google search, it will automatically do well in generative AI answers. Is this a myth, likely a myth, or not a myth? Take a second to think about it. Is it a myth or not? If my website ranks #1 in traditional search, will it automatically do well in AI answers? It's likely a myth. While SEO, having a good SEO foundation is good, GEO requires more. For example, comprehensive conversations that align and which aren't guaranteed to have a #1 ranking. So it is likely a myth. Second question. You need to create completely new content specifically for GEO because your existing content is useless. Do you think this is a myth, likely a myth, or not a myth? This is likely a myth as well, because existing quality content can often be adapted and updated and restructured. You don't have to rewrite copy from scratch. You don't have to do everything from ground up. You can take your existing content, you can adapt it, you can restructure it. It's about optimizing the content you have, not necessarily always reinventing the content. Therefore, it's not all bad news. All the work you've put in over the years can be still used. The third question, GEO is all about pleasing AI algorithms. So human readability and user experience is not important or less important. Is it a myth? Not a myth? It's definitely a myth, because generative AI, the goal is to provide human-like answers that are helpful to the user. So content that is clear and engaging and valuable to the user is more likely to be favored. So the core SEO foundations and fundamentals, if you're familiar with the core SEO fundamentals of EAT, which is experience, expertise, authoritativeness, and trustworthiness, if your content has these 4 core elements, then they still strongly apply. So it's not about pleasing the engines. It's about making sure your content is human friendly. And then the final question, smaller businesses and niche websites can't compete in GEO against large authoritative domains. And this is a big question, because often we are working with a lot of small businesses. We are small businesses ourselves. Do we stand a chance against the big companies that can invest more in this domain? It's also likely a myth, because while authority matters, GEO can also surface highly specific content from experts, from niche sources, if it directly answers the question that users are asking. Therefore, expertise can shine in GEO searches. We'll share this presentation with you so you have all these answers, but keep this foundation in mind when you're creating content for yourselves or for your clients, so that you can really understand how GEO can support your content journey. So the big question is, why should we care? And for this, I'm going to leave it to Ignacio to explain more the background and how you can create content that's GEO friendly. Ignacio?
Thank you, Robert. Thank you. So one of the reasons is that this is coming fast, really, really fast. We can see here in this graph the initial adoption curve of ChatGPT, the generative AI, compared to the smartphones and the tablets. For example, the smartphones during the first year, they reach 16 million of US users, and in the year 4, 62 millions. If we compare with generative AI that started on 2022, the first year was 7 million, and the second year is 77. So it's incredibly fast how this is growing. And in the next slide, we are going to see how fast this is. ChatGPT, for example, achieved 100 million users in less than a month. Companies like TikTok, they reach 100 million users in 3 months. Instagram, it took more than 1 year. Google Translate, more than 5 years, and Netflix, almost 10 years. So we can see how fast this is, and this is not a trendy thing. This is coming to stay. As of August, in the slide before, as August 2025, we can see ChatGPT, that is the most important of these large language models, with 700 million weekly users. If we compare it with Gemini, that is an important one, this has 450 million monthly users. This is weekly against monthly. You can see how important is ChatGPT and how fast this is growing. In a recent report, 52% of US adults now use AI large language model. So in the next slide, we can see that this was predicted by Gartner, the global research company. They said years ago that by 2028, brands' organic search traffic will decrease by 50% or more as consumers embrace generative AI-powered search. This is happening right now. This is the nightmare of the CMOs right now, because they need to readapt all their strategies on like how to make an impact on all this SEO traffic that started to decrease. The CMOs, Gartner predicted that the CMOs must prepare for this disruption that generative AI-backed search will bring to their organic search strategies. So nowadays, the CMOs are working more with AI agent and reducing their teams, so to adapt to the new technologies. This is something that Robert was sharing at the beginning, the AI overviews. This is something that Google shows in the results. So users, they don't have to go to the famous 10 links. They just find the answer in the AI overview, and they go to another platform. They go to ChatGPT to search for review about that question. And then they go to other platform like Amazon to confirm the review, and maybe they buy your product without visiting your site. We can see that the organic click-through rate when AI is not showing increase. But when we see the AI overview, the organic CTR decreased because people are not going to click on the website. They have the answer there already. So in the next slide, we can see another important study, in this case from SEMrush, an important SEO platform, that shows that large language models don't always show the Google first results. In traditional search, the highest ranking content wins, but large language models work different. They prioritize the best answers, no matter what page they are. In fact, almost 90% of ChatGPT citations come from positions 21 plus. And this makes sense because when you write on ChatGPT, you ask for details. And sometimes in the first positions are for backlinks. So it makes sense. In the next slide, this is an opinion of an authoritative person in the market. This is Ryan Law, the director of content or content marketing at Hrefs, and he's saying that nowadays all website they add some kind of like content from Wikipedia on their site. They prepare like a small Wikipedia on their site, not because they want it. It's because the AI robots they they need this information. But in the future, people will see this like, wow, that strategy was something so old, so awkward, you know. But this is what's happening right now. And in the next slide, and I'm going to explain the $1,000,000 question, like how to GEO, how we can improve this, or at least how we do it and the results we have in B2B. First thing, the keyword research. This is still the most important thing that you have to do, even for ChatGPT and the other AI search engines. But the why is slightly different from traditional SEO, because nowadays it's not just single keywords anymore. This is about questions and intent. You ask a question on ChatGPT and then you re-ask based on the results. For example, as what Robert was saying before, SEO focus on keywords like best hotel Tokyo. That's a long tail. But ChatGPT users ask, what are the best luxury hotels in Tokyo near Shinjuku with a pool? Shinjuku is a neighborhood. But you ask for something specifically, and maybe it's not in the first page, in the second, maybe it's in the second or the third page, but that page will appear on ChatGPT and will receive the credit, and maybe the user goes straight to that website via ChatGPT, because you are giving more information. This is not just best hotels Tokyo. You want more. So optimizing our content, sorry, in the slide before, optimizing our content in a conversational mode. Another important thing, because search engine prioritize helpful user-first content that simplifies the search for users by making searching easier. That's an important thing and change from a traditional SEO. Other thing that we do, we add semantic signals in our content. For example, we need to summarize, we need to use phrases like in summary, step one, the most important thing. Why? Because when the AI robots come to our website, they need to have the information like really simple to bring it back. So using semantic signal is really important. Another thing, bullet points to replace when you use 1, 2, 3, 4. No, you need to use bullet points nowadays. You have to stick to one idea per paragraph. So every paragraph has the answer of the prompt that will be presented on ChatGPT. It's quite simple. One idea per paragraph. This improves readability for both users and AI models. Continuing with the SEO best practices, you need to follow H1, H2, H3 structure. You need to respect the hierarchy and the flow of your content, because as Robert said, GEO is an SEO upgrade. It's not that the SEO rules are going to be put in a story. No, you have to upgrade that. Another important thing, you have to create frequently asked questions on your site for obvious reasons, because the people are going to ask how, what, they are going to ask this kind of questions on ChatGPT. So better have those questions also in your site, so the robots go straight to your site to pull out answers. In the next slide, we have the rest of the things we do. We have authoritative data and insight. This is something that needs to be done in the content you create for your client. You need to set authoritative people in the market. You need to add links from, let's say, from the Ministry of Health in Japan. If we are talking about medicine, we need to show statistics. If you can create a table in your articles, will be great. Comparative tables. Why? Because people on ChatGPT will ask for comparative data, like compare this company with this one. If you have that information, it's really simple for this AI robot to pull it back from your site. So authoritative data, statistics, expert citations will help your content to rank better than your competitors. Content refresh. If you have an article that is ranking really good on SEO, but it's not appearing on GEO, upgrade that. You have to update it with more information, updated with this like conversational mode, add questions in the H1s, in the H2s. So you need to do all this. Also, you have to work with like a calendar with evergreen and seasonal content creation, because sometimes people are just looking for something seasonal. They don't want to know about things in the next years. It's just the best things of, let's say, top 5 software tools in 2025. So it's a seasonal content. Then you can update it next year, but you need to use that seasonal content, because the question is about 2025 in that case. Online presence. You need to continue building your strong and presence online, not just on ChatGPT. For example, if you work for the American market, you need to have a Reddit profile and have some interaction in that profile or your clients, because Google has an agreement, a license agreement with Reddit. 99% of the answers that you see on Google AI overview are pulling from Reddit. That's why it's so important, Reddit nowadays, for Google on the US market. In the next slide, we have our key takeaways. The first one is that you have to continue excelling at the fundamental. Content, high quality content, still the king. This is a phrase that is since 20 years ago, like SEO is dead and content is the king. They are the two most famous phrases on this SEO industry. Then you have to have a solid SEO foundation. You have to respect and follow on the technical SEO and also the technical GEO. You need to use schema markup as well and use relevant keywords. Those are still crucial, especially long tails. Second, you have to make your content AI friendly, as explained, conversational mode, clear and structured. The format your content so AI can easily understand it. This means that you have to use clean headlines, bullet point, and concise summaries. Direct answers. You just focus one answer, short answers, and you continue with other paragraph. So then showcase your EEAT, your experience, expertise, authoritativeness, and trustworthiness. So as explained before, authoritative is important for your articles. You need to highlight that. Also show your experience in the content, so you can you can be a reference on this kind of articles. Then you have to build trust, consistently demonstrate your authority and trustworthiness in your field. And number 4, you have to expand your definition of success. Track AI mentions. Nowadays, there are many companies that they are starting to create AI mention tools. This is because as ChatGPT and all these things is it's moving so fast, these companies they need to pull data from ChatGPT. One important a new tool that is in the market right now is brand radar from Href, and that is like the one that is taking the lead in the AI citations, because you need some like a dashboard to monitor your clients' AI citations, so you can work in the new content that you want to create based on those citations. And you have for many different large language models, not just ChatGPT. There are companies that they focus more in perplexity because they want to focus more in reviews, but ChatGPT nowadays, it takes the lead for many other reasons. And then you have to monitor new traffic sources, understand how users are discovering you through these AI-powered results. Then, what is the result of doing all this? So I'm going to make all these changes and I'm going to optimize for GEO. What's the result? Okay, relevant traffic and accelerate growth. If you do this, if you do all the, if you follow and respect all these points, you will enhance online visibility and authority. You will dominate niche search results for your industry and region. It's not the same how you optimize for GEO in United States than in Japan. For example, Japan, Reddit is really small compared to United States. Here in Japan, you use more like Yahoo Answers, Hatena Bookmark, another thing. Then you have to adapt to your market and your region. Then you will increase the qualified leads. You will attract decision makers who are actively searching for your specific product or service in the area, leading to higher conversion rate. Things that are happening now, companies, B2B companies are decreasing on the leads. Why? Because the people are not going to visit their website. So we need to find the best way to increase these qualified leads again. So, the third point, strategic advantage over your competitors. Doing these things on GEO while your rivals chase generic traffic, you will be capturing the high intent, geographically relevant searches that convert. So that's another important thing.
Thank you, Ignacio. I know we powered through everything very quickly because we wanted to keep, we're going to share all this information with you with the deck, but we wanted to keep enough time for questions and answers. So I'll open it up for Q&A and happy to jump back to any slides so we can have a more discussion over the content we've shared. Carla, back to you.
Thank you so much. This was very, very informative and educational and specific. I wanted to know what's the maybe timeline of how quick you can see results once you, optimize the content or in your experience with your clients or with your websites, how quickly did you see results?
Ignacio?
I can reply this. Okay, so first depends on the industry that you are going to target, and but the average is between 4 to 6 months to see the results. And while you are creating this like a new content based on GEO strategies, you need to also work in the backend, which means that you need to create more questions for the content that you are creating. So you need to be on top of ChatGPT as well.
And if I can share our own example, Gala, we started implementing this early this year, right? We started writing about it, talking about it, and our number of inquiries have really, increased a lot. And when I get on calls with new clients, I always ask them, "How did you find us?" And the common answer is ChatGPT, which is pretty impressive. And of course, you still use your, GA4 Google Analytics data. We can see in that, the organic searches, the organic links to our website. You can see the trend from chat engines recommending our site go up, and then we can make a correlation to, yeah, we got that inquiry. So it's pretty quick, but as the industry catches on, of course, competition is going to catch on and do competitive things to try to take a piece of the market share. But as Ignacio said, 4 months, 6 months for really good results. I see Fredericks has asked a question. Help us explain how you are proposing this to clients. Do you use words like GEO or AEO or both? We explain generative engine optimization, GEO, because clients are very familiar with SEO. SEO has been around, and a lot of clients come to us with, we need to do SEO, and then we ask them, have you heard of GEO? And quite often some very few have heard of it, and they think, oh, is it geographic kind of positioning? And then we explain what GEO is, what generative engine is. So typically we use generative engine, GEO, or AI overviews, because that's becoming more prevalent. Users are now, the traditional search, they go to Google and search, and then they're starting to see AI overview. What is this? So they're getting used to that, what they're seeing. So we try to explain in those terms. Yes, Davor, you have a question about Reddit.
Yes. I think Ignacio said that Reddit provides a huge proportion of answers provided by ChatGPT. I forgot the exact number, but I think it was like 90% or something like that. What about non-American markets such as Croatian, and in which Reddit is not really important or dominant? What would you say, how we go about identifying where the answers are coming in our local AI searches?
Okay, in that case, one important thing from any other country that is not the state is Wikipedia, and local markets like Croatia is more about local answers websites. Like in case of Japan, it has Yahoo Answers. I'm not sure about the Croatian specific one, like if there's a Yahoo answer for Croatia, or which is the most important answer, like forum in Croatia. But forums are like the most important like source for local Google local. So Google Croatia will pull data from important forums in Croatia.
Yeah, we do have a forum, and it's called Forum. Okay, I got it. Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah, and Davor, it is Google that has a relationship with Reddit, not ChatGPT. So Google's tied up with Reddit, so they are a lot of the answers that you see in the US market comes from Reddit, because Reddit has a very active user base. So Google's trying to capture that market share of users on Reddit. Maruk and Vikram, I see you have your hands up.
Yes, I was just wondering that in order to design the content and write it, would it help if you use ChatGPT to write that content?
That's a very good question. Ignacio, you want to take a shot at it first?
Yes, definitely will help you. But you need to know or you need to learn the way to ask the prompt, because it's a process. It's not that you create a prompt, you receive the answer from ChatGPT, and you copy paste on your site. No. This has a process that with that content has to be analyzed from a like editor, or then you have to re-ask questions. Then you have to include this, like, can you please include citations from top 3 important websites in your market? And when you have when you have all the different answers, you can say, okay, now let's create the original article with the citations, with the questions that you ask, and with the structure that you create before. So to summarize, you need to know how to create a prompt in ChatGPT. You need to follow steps.
Yeah, and definitely, human edit
Thank
it,
you.
rewrite it, copyright it, because it's not going to help if you're just taking ChatGPT written, LLM written content and kind of putting it on your website. That would sometimes defeat the purpose. Great questions. Thank you. Any other questions?
If nobody has anything, I have one more. Can you talk maybe a little bit more about the programs that do AI mention tracking? How good are they? Your experiences and how it works?
Okay, I was talking about Brand Radar. Brand Radar is a Href new tool, we can say, because even that you have you are paying monthly with Href, this is like an upgrade. You have to pay extra for this. And what you receive is citations from the different large language model platforms, and based on the one that you want to work. For example, if you want to work just ChatGPT, you can see the citations from this software, and also the competitors' citations. So you can see how the people are searching for your competitors, which prompts they are asking to appear on ChatGPT. So that's the most important thing. Nowadays, citations and conversational mode, it's everything. So I have nothing with Href, but I recommend to use this software.
Thank you so much. Does anybody have any more questions? Okay, I think you were very thorough. Thank you so much again to everybody that participated, and to you guys for teaching us something new. It was very, very informative and very interesting, and exactly what you, Robert, said a couple of minutes ago. We wanted to kind of speed up this webinar to happen as soon as possible, so everybody will soon be doing the same thing, so to have some kind of a competitive advantage. And yes, thank you again all for showing up.
Yeah, thank you, Gala, for organizing it at short notice.
No problem.
Yeah, we'll send the deck across. If you have other follow-up questions, feel free to reach us. Happy to help you, as you navigate through this, complex world. And of course, the sooner you can grasp it, you can start to help clients. And if you have clients that want to do GEO and you would like a guiding hand, we're happy to co-collaborate with you to kind of provide that service so that it can guide you on how to, launch the service for your clients.
Man, thank you everyone for your time. It was a real pleasure to be here with all you guys.
Thank
The
you.
pleasure is ours.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Robert.
great.
Thank you, Ignacio. Appreciate
Thank
the
you.
time spent with us.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Yes, you're welcome. Bye.
Okay.